To be or not to be? A question that rings out in the minds of conscious people everywhere. Whether we should suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or take arms against the sea of troubles and by opposing end them. We struggle with the thought of sacrificing our comfort, our privilege, our social standing, and sometimes our safety for the sake of common cause or greater good. Our neighbors are hurting. People in our community and across the country are hurting. The oppressor's wrong. The laws delay and the insolence of office weigh down on us to grunt and sweat under. Hamlet is not just a play about murder, betrayal, and family discord. It is a play about righteous anger and civility that stands in the way of justice. How grief and trauma are deliberately misunderstood as madness, so we focus on treating the symptoms instead of curing the ills. It is a play that feels, unfortunately, deeply contemporary in this moment, because we all feel righteous anger right now. For George Floyd, for Ahmaud Arbery, for Breonna Taylor, and for Tony McDodd. People whose lives mattered and who should still be here today, if not for a society and system that holds Black people in contempt and constantly puts them in the crosshairs. We have no interest in losing the name of action, no interest in cowering in the face of injustice. And while the angry and grieving will be denigrated as violent, as overreactionary, as destructive, just know the path to justice has never been paved smoothly. Hamlet knew this. So did Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. John Brown and Frederick Douglass knew. Marsha P. Johnson knew this. The late Larry Kramer knew this as well. Tonight, we have a wonderful play for you, and some of Shakespeare's words you just heard will be said once again much more beautifully by a wonderful cast of actors. You can support these actors using our No Exit tip jar on Venmo at NoExit-TC, and 20% of the money will be going to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, a mutual aid organization and cash bail fund to assist those seeking justice in Minnesota. Because anti-racism is more than talking the talk. It is about committing time and resources to helping the cause. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening for the No Exits fortnightly reading series as we present William Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Hello, my name is Tumey, and I'll be playing Hamlet.
Hello, my name is Arin Edelstein, and I'll be playing Horatio.
Hello, my name is Caitlyn McCain, and I will be playing Ophelia.
Hi, my name is Meagan Sisler. I'll be playing Laertes.
Hi, my name is Courtney Silber, and I'll be playing Polonius and Lucianus.
Hi, my name is Nicole, Pelini, and I'll be playing Queen Gertrude and the player.
My name is RJ, and I will be playing Claudius, the ghost, and a player.
My name is Henry, and I will be playing Rosenstern and the Gravedigger.
Hi, my name is Heidi Tolson, and I will be reading your stage directions tonight, as well as reading for the messenger, the priest, and Osric.
Hi, my name is Renae Raymond, and I will be the swing this evening. Be sure to stick around after the show because we will be having a Q&A, and you can go to the No Exit Theater Collective Facebook page to leave questions in the comment section under the live stream post. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy the show.
Act 1, Scene 2. Enter King, Queen, Hamlet, Polonius, and other lords.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it is us befitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature, that we with wise sorrow think on him. Together with remembrance of ourself, therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with mirth in funeral and with dirge in marriage, taken to wife. And now, Polonius, what is the news with you? You seek some suit about Laertes?
My son begs leave to return to France, from whence, though willingly, he came to Denmark to show his duty in your coronation.
What say you?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laboursome petition, and at last, upon his will, I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you grant him leave to go.
His best graces spend he as he will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son.
Little more than kin and less than kind.
How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord. I am too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy father in the dust. Thou knowest 'tis common all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam, nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother. No, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected havior of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play, but I have that within that passes show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know your father lost a father, and that father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. 'Tis unmanly grief. We pray you throw to earth this unprevailing woe and think of us as a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throat, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears to his son do I impart towards you. For your intent in going back to school in Wittenberg is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let thy mother loose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in all my best obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart. Come away.
Exempt all but Hamlet.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh, God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it, fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this, but 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this. Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven, visit her face too roughly, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. My father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left a flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Oh, most wicked speed! To post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Enter Horatio.
Hail to your lordship.
I am glad to see you well. Horatio, or do I forget myself?
Same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
I'm very glad to see you, but what in faith make you from Wittenberg?
A truant disposition, good my lord.
I would not hear your enemies say so. But what is your fare in Elsinore?
My
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I prithee do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did goodly furnish forth the marriage tables. Oh, my father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw? Who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father? For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had 2 gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch been thus encountered. A figure like your father appears before them, with solemn march goes slow and stately by them. This to me in dreadful secrecy did they impart, and I with them the 3rd night kept the watch. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
'Tis very strange. Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. And we think it did writ down in our duty to let you know of it.
I will watch tonight, perchance 'twill walk again.
Warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I'll speak to it though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you, sir, and whatsoever else shall hap tonight give it an understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your love. So fare you well. Upon the platform, twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
My duty to your honor.
Your love is mine to you. Farewell.
Exeunt Hamlet and Horatio and all. Scene 4. Enter Laertes and Ophelia.
My necessaries are embarked. I must abroad. But ere I part, mark what I say to thee. I see Prince Hamlet makes a show of love to thee. Beware, Ophelia, do not trust his vow. Perhaps he loves you now, but you must fear his greatness weighed, his will is not his own. For he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and health of this whole state. And weigh what loss your honor must sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia, fear it, my dear sister. Be wary then, best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But good my brother, do not, as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst himself the primrose path of dalliance treads.
Oh, fear me not. Here speaks our father.
He reads.
Son, these few precepts in thy memory. Look thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them unto thy soul with hopes of steel. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reverse thy judgment. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend. This, above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing season this in thee.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
Is in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Exeunt. Scene 5. Hamlet and Ophelia enter together. We see a show of their affection. Hamlet hands her something, maybe a letter or a token. They part. Hamlet exits. Ophelia looks at what Hamlet has given her. Polonius enters.
What this, Ophelia?
So please you something touching the Lord Hamlet.
'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you. And you yourself, have of your audience been most free and bounteous? What is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affection? Pooh, you speak like a green girl. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Mary, I will teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you have taken these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion, and hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, springes to catch woodcocks. I do know. When blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends, the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, give more light than heat. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk than may be given you. I would not, in plain terms. From this time forth, have you so slander any moment leisure as to give words or talk with Lord Hamlet? Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
Exeunt. Scene 7. Enter Horatio and Hamlet.
The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold.
There's a nipping and an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12. Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. King! Father! Royal Dane, oh, answer me! What may this mean, thou dead corpse? What should we do?
It beckons as though it had something to impart to you alone, but do not go with it.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life at a pin's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? It waves me forth again. I'll follow it.
Ruled, you shall not go.
Ill am I called. Unhand me, Horatio. I say away. Go on. I'll follow thee.
Exeunt Hamlet and Ghost. Scene 8. Ghost and Hamlet.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not. Lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge, and thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night till foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. Revenge my foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul, as in the best it is, but this most foul, strange and unnatural.
Haste me to note that I wish wings as swift as meditation or that thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
'Tis given out that, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stung me, so the whole ear of Denmark is, by a forged process of my death, rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle!
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts, won to his shameful lust the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what falling off was there from me onto a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine? Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sins, with all my imperfections on my head. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother-in-law. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns in her bosom lodged to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. Adieu. Adieu. Remember me.
Ghost exits.
Remember thee. Remember thee, yes. By heaven. O most pernicious woman, O villain, villain, smiling, damned villain. That one may smile and smile and smile and be a villain. Now to my word. It is adieu, adieu, remember me. I have sworn.
Enter Horatio.
My lord, what news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No, you will reveal it.
Where?
There's never a villain dwelling in all Denmark, but he's an errant knave.
Your wild and whirling words, my lord.
Now, good friend, give me one request.
What is it, my lord? I will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, I will not.
Swear.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Horatio swears.
Oh, day right, but this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. This do swear.
Swear.
Horatio swears.
Rest, perturbed spirit. So, Horatio, with all my love, I do commend me to you. The time is out of joint. No cursed spite that ever I was born to set it right.
End of Act 1. Act 2, Scene 1. Enter King, Queen, and Rosenstern.
Welcome, your Rosenstern. Something have you heard of Hamlet's transformation? So I call it, since nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was, what it should be. More than his father's death I cannot dream of. I entreat you to draw him on to pleasures, and to gather whether aught to us unknown affects him thus.
Good and gentle friends, he hath much talked of you. If it will please you to show us much gentry and goodwill, your visitations shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of me, put your dread pleasure more into command than entreaty, but I will obey.
Thanks, gentle Rosenstern.
Thanks.
Exit King and Queen. Scene 2.
He took me by the wrist and held me hard, and falls to such perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go, and with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without eyes, for out of doors he went without their help, and to the last bended their light on me.
Ophelia, what means this?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me.
Why, that hath made him mad. Let's to the king. This madness may prove, though a while, yet more true to thy love. Come.
Scene 3. Enter Polonius and Ophelia before King and Queen.
My good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king, and I do think that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
I doubt it 'tis no other but the maid. His father's death and our hasty marriage.
Well, we will sift him.
My liege and madam, your noble son is mad, and pity 'tis true. Yes, mad. Let us grant him then, and now remains that we find out the cause of this effect. Perpend, I have a daughter, well, she is mine, who in her duty and obedience hath given me this.
More matter with less art.
I swear I use no art at all, gather and surmise.
He reads.
To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia.
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while. Doubt though the stars are fire, doubt the sun will move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh, dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best. Oh, most believe it. Adieu, thine evermore, most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. This, in obedience, hath my daughter shown me, and, more about, hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time, by means, by place, all given to mine ear.
But how hath she received his love?
What do you think of me?
As of a man faithful and honorable.
I would fain prove so. But what might you think? When I had seen this hot love on the wing, I went round to work, and my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, out of thy star, this must not be. And then I precepts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messages, receive no tokens, which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he, repelled, fell into the madness wherein now he raves, and all we mourn for.
You think 'tis this?
It may be. Very like.
Hath there been such a time, I would fain know, that I have positively said 'tis so, when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Take this from this, if I be otherwise.
How may we try this further?
Marry, my lord, thus. You know, sometimes the prince walks for hours here in the gallery. At such a time I'll lose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then. There shall you hear the effects of all his heart.
We will try it.
Madam, will it please your grace to leave us here?
With all my heart. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Exit Queen.
Walk you here, read on this book. That show of such exercise may color you loneliness.
Scene 4. Enter Hamlet.
Be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die. To sleep. No more. Am I safe to say we end the heartache and the thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to? 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished, to die, to sleep, to sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come. When we have shuffled off this mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time? The oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely. The pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes when he himself might his quietest make with a bare bodkin. Who would fardels bear? To grunt in sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death. The undiscovered country, from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others we know not of. Thus conscience does make cowards of us all. Doth now. The fair Ophelia, nymph in thy orisons, be all my sins remembered.
Good my lord, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well.
My honored lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you receive them.
No, not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. Take these again. For to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Good beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty.
Aye, surely, for the power of beauty will sooner transform beauty from what it is to a god than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why, wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. We are errant knaves, all. Believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where's your father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, help him, you sweet heavens.
If thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery. Farewell. Or, if thou wilt needs marry, marry a fool. For wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, and quickly too. Farewell.
The heavenly powers restore him.
I have heard of your paintings well enough. God hath given you one face, and you make yourselves another. Go to. I'll no more on't. It hath made me mad. I say, we all will have no more marriage. Those that are married already, all but one, shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery go! Farewell!
Hamlet exits.
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown. Courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword, the observed of all observers. Quite down. And I of ladies most deject and wretched, that sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reason, like sweet bells, jingled out of tune and harsh. That unmatched form and feature of blown youth, blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me, to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
Ophelia exits. Enter King.
Love? No, his affections do not that way tend. There's something in his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits on brood. And I do not doubt the hatch and the disclosure will be some danger.
King exit. Scene 6. Enter Hamlet and Rosenstern.
Excellent, good friend, how dost thou, Rosenstern? What news?
Well, none, my lord, but The world's grown honest.
It is doomsday near. But your news is not true. What have you, my good friend, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one.
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
I think not so, my lord.
Why then, 'tis none to you. For there is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it is a prison.
Why then ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
What make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord. No other occasion.
Were you sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, come, deal justly with me. Come, come. Nay, speak.
What should I say, my lord?
Anything but to the purpose. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
That you must teach me. If you love, hold not off.
My lord, I was sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory, nothing but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action how like an angel, in apprehension how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did ye laugh then, when I said man delights me not?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you.
Players? What players be they?
My lord, the tragedians of the city, that you took delight to see so often. They are...
Good friend, you are welcome to Elsinore. You are welcome, but my uncle, father, and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my liege?
I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
There are the players.
Scene 7. Enter Polonius and players.
The actors are come hither, my lord.
Ah, you are welcome, masters. Welcome all. I am glad to see you well. Welcome, good friends. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my good lord?
I heard these few me a speech once. 'Twas an excellent play. 'Twas Aeneas's tale to Dido, especially when he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, when he laid couched in the ominous horse, hath now his dread and black complexion smeared with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons. So proceed you.
Let land Laertes and damn it light to their lord's murder. The hellish Pyrrhus old grandeur Priam seeks. Anon he finds him, striking too short at the Greeks. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam thrives, and rage strikes wide. But with whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ear, for lo, his sword, which was declining on the milk head of Reverend Priam, seems there to stick. So as a painted tyrant, Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing.
Come on, Hecuba, come.
But who? Whoa! Had seen the veiled queen run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames. But if the gods themselves did see her then when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport and mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made would have made mute the burning eye of heaven and passion in the gods.
Look where he has not turned his color, and has tears in his eyes. Prithee, no more.
Well, good, my lord. Will you see these players well bestowed?
My lord, I will use them according to their desert.
God's bodkin, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who shall escape whipping? Use them after your own honor and dignity. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
Polonius and several actors leave. All exit but Hamlet.
I so goodbye you. Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I! Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage waned? Tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing? For Hecuba, what's Hecuba to him, or he to her, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears, make mad the guilty, and appall the free. Yet I, a dull and body-meddled rascal, peeking like John a dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing, no, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. If he do blench, I know my course. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
End of Act 2. Act 3, Scene 1. Enter Queen, King, Rosenstern, and Polonius.
And can you by no drift of conference get from him why he puts on this confusion?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak. Nor do I find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness he keeps aloof when I would bring him to some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman, but with much forcing of his disposition.
Did you essay him any pastime?
Well, madam, it so fell out that certain players I o'er on the way. Of these I told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear it. They are here about the court, and as I think they have already ordered this knight to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
With all my heart, it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further air to drive his purpose unto these delights.
I shall, my lord, and I will once again unto the noble prince.
Thanks to you both.
Exit Rosenstern.
Gertrude, you'll see this play?
My lord, I will, and it joys me to the soul he is inclined to any kind of mirth.
My noble sovereign, give me leave to speak. If you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief, and I'll be placed, pleased you, in the ear of all their conference. My lord, how you think on it?
It likes us well. But Gertrude, what say you?
With all my heart.
Well, then, it shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go.
Scene 2. Hamlet and the players.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. Be not too tame, neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance, that you overstep not the modesty of nature. Horatio, thou art e'en a man as e'er my conversation coped withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Do not think I flatter. There's a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. Observe my uncle, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord.
They are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a place.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet, sit by me.
No, good mother. Here's metal more attractive.
Aside to the king.
Oh, do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head in your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I meant courtesy matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought to lie between maids' legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who, I?
Aye, my lord.
What should a man do but be merry? For look how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
Oh, my heavens! Died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life. Ha! A year!
Enter player Duke and player Duchess.
For us, and for our tragedy, here stooping to you with a clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this a prologue or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As woman's love.
'Tis 30 years since Hymen did our hands unite in most sacred bonds.
But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state.
'Tis known sweet nature must pay his dues. To heaven must I, and leave the earth with you.
Oh, say not so, lest that you kill my heart. When death takes you, let life from me depart.
Faith! I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. And thou shalt live in this world anew, for second husband.
In second husband, let me be accursed. None weds the second, but she kills the first. The second time I kill my husband that's dead, when second husband kisses me in bed. Both here and there pursue me lasting strife. If once a widow, ever I be a wife.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. I would the tedious day with sleep beguile.
He sleeps.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? There's no offense in it.
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offense to the world.
What do you call the play?
The mousetrap. Very topically. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago is the duke's name, his wife Baptista. You shall see anon. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesty, and we that have free soul, it touches us not.
Enter player Lucianus.
This one is Lucianus, nephew to the king. Begin, murderer.
Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, his wholesome life assert immediately.
He pours the poison in the sleeper's ear.
He poisons him in the garden of his estate. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What, frighted with false fire?
How fares my lord?
Go over the play.
Give me some light! Away!
Lights, lights, lights!
Exit all but Hamlet and Horatio. Scene 4.
Oh, good, Horatio, didst perceive?
Very well, my lord.
Enter Rosenstern.
Good lord, vouchsafe me a word with you.
I am tame, sir, pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you. Your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration. She desires to speak with you in her closet, ere you go to bed.
We shall obey were she 10 times from our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me. Good my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Friend, I lack advancement.
How can that be, when you have the voice of the king himself for the succession of Denmark?
Why, look you, how unworthy a thing you make of me. You should play upon me, you would pluck out the heart of my mystery. There is much music in this little organ, yet you cannot make it speak. Do you think I am easier to be played upon than a pipe? Call me what instrument ye will, though you fret me, you cannot play upon me.
Enter Polonius.
God,
My lord?
bless it, sir.
My lord, the queen would with you, and presently.
I will come to my mother by and by. Leave me, friends.
All exit but Hamlet.
It is now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft now to my mother. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none.
Exeunt. Scene 5. Enter King.
Oh, my offense is rank, it smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon it. A brother's murder! Pray can I not, though inclination be as sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause, for I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not enough rain in sweet heavens to wash it as white as snow? My fault is past, but go, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be, since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, my own ambition, and my queen. And one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may show justice, and oft has seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. But 'tis not so above. Bow, stubborn knee, and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Retires and kneels. Enter Hamlet.
Now might I do it, ha? Now he is praying. And now I'll do it.
Hamlet draws his sword.
And so he goes to heaven. And so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that, I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven? He took my father grossly, with all his crimes full blown, and am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No. When he is drunk asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
Exit Hamlet.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
Scene 6.
You will come straight. Look you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat in him. I'll sconce me even here, pray you, be round with him.
Mother! Mother! Mother!
I'll warrant you, fear me not.
Polonius hides behind the tapestry. Enter Hamlet.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Have you forgot me?
No, by the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife, and would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay, then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come, come, and sit you down, you shall not budge.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me? Help! Help, ho!
What ho? Help! Help! Help!
How now? A rat? Dead for a ducat, dead!
Makes a pass through the tapestry and he stabs.
Oh, I am slain.
Oh, me! What hast thou done?
Nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed is this?
A bloody deed almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my word.
Hamlet lifts up the tapestry and discovers Polonius.
Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down and let me wring your heart. For so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, makes marriage vows as false as dicers' oaths.
I may what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here, upon this picture, and upon this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes?
No, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their taint.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words, like daggers, enter my ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain, a slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, a vice of kings.
No more.
Enter Ghost.
Save me and hover o'er me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he is mad.
Do not come, your tardy son to chide, that lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important act of your dread command. Oh, say!
Do not forget. This visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look! Amazement on thy mother sits! Oh, step between her and her fighting soul. Speak to her, Hamlet!
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is it with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Whereon do you look?
On him. On him. Look you, how pale he glares. Do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action you convert my stern effects. Then what I have to do will want true color, tears perchance for blood.
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there? Nor do you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
Why, look you there! Look how it steals away!
Exit Ghost.
This is the very coinage of your brain.
It is not madness that I have uttered. Mother, for love of grace, confess yourself to heaven, repent what's past.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Oh, throw away the worser part of it and live with the purer half. For Polonius, I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this and this with me. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Let not the bloat king tempt you again to bed, to make you ravel all this matter out, that I essentially am out in madness, but mad in craft.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
Mother, good night. Indeed, this counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir, draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
Exit Hamlet, dragging Polonius. End of Act 3. Act 4, Scene 1, enter Hamlet with guards and Rosenstern.
Hamlet is overtaken, my lord.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten.
Where is Polonius?
Heaven, send thither to seek him.
What have you done with the body, my lord?
You shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Don't seek him there.
The guards exit.
He will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed for thine special safety must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself for England.
Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh, and so my mother. Come, for England.
Hamlet exits with Rosenstern.
And England, if my love thou holds at aught, thou mayst not coldly set our sovereign process. By letters congruing to that effect, the present death of Hamlet. Do it, England. For like the hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me.
Exeunt. Scene 2, enter Queen and Horatio.
I will not speak with her. What would she have?
He speaks much of her father, indeed distract.
Let her come in.
Enter Ophelia.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
He is dead. He is gone. Lady, he is dead and gone. At his head, the grass green turf. At his heel, the stone. White as shroud as the mountain snow.
Enter King.
Alas, look here, my lord.
How do you, pretty lady?
Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, and all in the morning bedtime, and I am made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes and up the timber door. Let the maid that out a maid never departed more.
Ophelia!
A man will do it if they come to it, my cock they are to blame. Quoth she, before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. He answers, so what I had done by yonder sun, and thou hast not come to my bed. I hope all will be well. We must be patient, but I cannot choose but weep to think they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it, so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach, good night. Ladies, good night, sweet ladies, good night, good night.
Follow her close, give her good watch. I pray you, oh, Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not in single spies, but in battalions. First her father slain, and we have done but greenly and hugger-mugger to inter him. Next your son gone. Poor Ophelia divided from herself and her fair judgment. Last, her brother is in secret come from France, and wants not buzzers to infect his ear with pestilent speeches of his father's death. Oh, my dear Gertrude, this like to a murdering peace in many places, gives me superfluous death.
A noise within. Enter messenger. Your Majesty.
What is the matter?
Young Laertes, in a riotous head, o'erbears your officers. Laertes enters.
Oh, thou vile king, give me my father.
Calmly, good Laertes.
What is the cause, Laertes? Tell me, Laertes. Why thou art such incensed? No, Gertrude, speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
How came he dead? I'll not be judged with. I dare damnation, only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
Good Laertes, if you desire to know the certainty of your dear father's death, it's written in your revenge that you will draw both friend and foe?
None but his enemies. To his good friends I'll open my arms.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensible in grief for it. It shall lever to your judgment pierce as day does to your eye.
Re-enter Ophelia.
And in his grave reigned many a tear. Fare thee well, my dog.
Oh, heat, dry up my brains, tears 7 times salt, burn out the sense and virtue of mine eye. Oh, rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia! Oh, heavens, is possible a young maid's wits should be as mortal as an old man's life. Hadst thou thy wits, and didst persuade revenge, it could not move thus.
There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. And there is pansies. That's for thoughts. There's fennel for you. And columbines. That's rue for you. Here's some for me. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they withered all when my father died. They said he made a good end. His beard was as white as snow. When will he not come again? When will he not come again? No, no, he's dead. Go to thy deathbed. He never will come again. God be with thee.
Ophelia exits. The queen goes after her.
Do you see this? Oh, God!
Laertes, I must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. If by direct or by collateral hand you find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we call ours to you in satisfaction. I loved your father, and we love ourselves. Now let you hear, and with a knowing ear, that Hamlet did thy noble father slay. And grief it was over this loss that left your sister, and quite distract.
Cursed be the soul that has wrought these wicked acts. Know that I shall live, and tell him to his teeth, thus thou diest.
Enter a messenger. This to your Majesty.
From Hamlet? Who brought this?
Sailors, my lord, I saw them not.
Leave us. High and Majesty, you shall know that I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow I shall beg leave to see you kingly eyes. And I shall then recant the occasion of my sudden and strange return. Hamlet. What should this mean? And in a postscript here he says, alone. Will you be ruled by me? Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself indeed your father's son, more than in words?
Cut his throat in the church.
Revenge should have no bounds. 'Tis said he would fain wish to be your better in swordsmanship. For this I'll lay a wager, shall be on Hamlet's side. I'll wager that in 12 passes you gain not 3 of him, and I shall steep the sword in deadly poison. That if it draws the least dram of blood in any part of him, he cannot live. I will work it so that even his mother shall call it an accident.
My lord, I like it well. 'Tis excellent. Oh, but the time will come. Here comes the queen.
Enter queen and lord with body of Ophelia.
One woe doth tread upon another's heel. Go fast they follow. Your sisters drowned, Laertes.
Drowned. Oh, where?
There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoar leaves in a glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come of crowflowers, nettles, daisies, long purples. There on the pendant bows her coronet weeds clamoring to hang. An envious sliver broke when down her weedy trophies and herself fell into the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes, as one incapable of her own distress. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, holds the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. But yet, it is our trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly drowns it.
Laertes exits.
Let's away, Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow, Gertrude.
End of Act 4. Act 5, Scene 1. A churchyard. Enter Gravedigger.
Is she to be buried in Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation? I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her, and finds it Christian burial. How can that be? Unless she drowned herself in her own defense. Why, 'tis found so. It cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act. And an act hath 3 branches. It is to act, to do, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly. Nay, but here you will give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to this water and drown himself, it is will he nil he goes. Mark you that? But if the water come to him and drown him, he drowns not himself. Although he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life. But is this law? Ay, marry, is it? Crowner's quest law. If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial. My spade, go fetch me a stoop of liquor. In youth when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract, oh, the time for my behold. Oh, methought there was nothing to hate.
This fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making?
Gravedigger throws up a skull.
That skull had a tongue in it and could sing once.
Indeed, my lord.
Gravedigger throws up another skull.
There's another. Whose grave's this, sirrah?
Mine, sir.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in't?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul. She's dead.
How long hast thou been a gravemaker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it the very day that young Hamlet was born he that is mad and sent to England.
How came he mad?
Faith, even with losing his wits. Here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. He poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. The same skull, sir, was Yorik's skull, king's jester.
Let me see.
Hamlet takes the skull.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest. He had borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination he is, my gorge rims at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar? But soft, soft. Here comes the king, the queen, the courtiers. Who is this they follow?
Enter King, Queen, Laertes, priest, Ophelia's funeral procession.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We would profane the service of the dead.
From her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
What? The fair Ophelia!
Sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hope thou shouldst been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
Treble woe, all 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth awhile, till I have caught her once more in mine arms.
He leaps into the grave.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? This is I, Hamlet the Dane!
Hamlet leaps into the grave.
The devil take thy soul! Thou prayest not well. I pray thee take thy fingers from my throat. Have I something in me dangerous, which let thy wisdom fear? Hold off thy hand!
Pluck them asunder!
Hamlet! Hamlet!
They close in the grave.
I loved Ophelia! 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. Dost thou come here to buy? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. I'll rant as well as thou.
Forbear, Laertes. How he is mad as is the sea anon, as mild and gentle as a dove. Therefore a while give his wild humor scope.
My lord, till then my soul will not be quiet.
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him.
Hear you, sir. What is the reason you use me thus? I loved you ever. But it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and dog will have his day.
Exit Hamlet.
Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. I pray you. Good Horatio, wait upon him.
Exit Gertrude, Horatio, and all.
An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Then in patience our proceedings be.
Exeunt. Scene 2. Hamlet and Horatio.
Our indiscretion sometimes serves us well when our deep plots do. And that should us there's a divinity that shapes our ends, rough them how we will.
This is most certain.
But wilt thou hear now how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair, an earnest conjuration from our king, that on the viewing of its contents, England should those bearers put to death.
Rosenstern goes to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment.
Who comes here?
Enter Osric. Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you.
The king, sir, hath laid that in a dozen passes between yourself and Lord Laertes, that he shall not exceed you 3 hits. If it would come to immediate trial, if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
Let the weapons be brought, the gentleman willing. and the king hold his purpose, I will win for him, if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
His Majesty commends that you attend him in the hall, and the Queen desire you to use some gentle entrainment to Laertes before you fall to play.
She well instructs me.
Exit Osric.
I am very sorry, Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself, for by the image of my course, I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favors. But sure the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
I think not so. But thou wouldst not think how ill all's here about my heart, but it is no matter.
If your mind dislike anything, obey it. I will forestall their repair hither and say you are not fit.
Not a whit, we defy augury. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man has aught of what he leaves, what is to leave betimes? Let be.
Scene 3. Enter King, Queen, Laertes, and all.
He thinks our plan should have a back. When in your motion you are hot and dry and that he calls for a drink, I have prepared for him a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping. If he by chance escape your venom struck, our purpose may still hold there. Come, Hamlet, take this hand from me.
King puts Laertes' hand into Hamlet's.
Give me your pardon, sir. I've done you wrong, but pardon as you are a gentleman. What I have done, that might your nature honor and exception. Roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Let my disclaiming from a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts, that I have shot mine arrow o'er the house and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in terms of honor, I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement, till by some elder masters of known honor, I have a voice and precedent of peace, to keep my name ungored. But, till that time, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play.
Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager?
Very well, my lord. Your grace hath laid the odds o' the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both. But since he is bettered, we have therefore odds.
They prepare to play.
Now, the king drinks to Hamlet. Come, begin.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
The fence.
What?
No.
Judgment?
A hit, a very palpable hit.
Well, again.
Hamlet, this pair is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Come!
They play on.
Another hit. What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Here, Hamlet, take my napkin. Rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Good, madam.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wipe your face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
Come, for the third, Laertes. You do but dally, I pray you. Pass with your best violence. I am afeard you make a wanton of me.
Say you so? Have at you now.
Laertes wounds Hamlet. Then in scuffing they change rapiers, and Hamlet wounds Laertes.
My lord, my lord!
Depart them!
The queen falls. Look to the queen there, ho!
How is it, my lord?
How is it, Laertes?
I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, no. The drink, oh, my dear Hamlet. The drink, I am poisoned.
She dies.
Oh, villainy! How? Let the door be locked! Treachery!
Seek it out.
It is here! Hamlet! Hamlet, thou art slain! No medicine in the world can do thee good. The treacherous instrument here, my lord, envenomed the foul practice, hath turned itself on me. Lo, here I lie, never to rise again, thy mother poisoned. I can no more. The king's to blame. Then venom to thy work.
Hamlet stabs the king.
Treason! Treason! Go defend me, friends. I have been hurt.
Here, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, drink off this potion.
The king dies.
Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Laertes dies.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I'm dead, Horatio. Horatio, thou livest. Report me, and my cause aright to the unsatisfied. O good Horatio, if thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, and in this harsh world draw thy breath to tell my story. Oh, I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite o'ercrowds my spirit. The rest is silence.
End of play.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us. We are going to go into a Q&A right now, but before we do so, I would love for the actors to get a little bit more time to introduce themselves, so I'm going to let them do that right now.
Wonderful. Hi, my name is Tumey. I played Hamlet tonight. I am a Brooklyn-based theater artist. I have, I just graduated. Wow, hello, good morning. I just graduated from the University of Evansville in 2019 with a BFA in theater performance. And I promptly moved to New York City and have just been kind of going about the rounds of being a new actor in the city. I have most recently been in New York Theater Festival's Winterfest 2020. I was in Cami Pileggi's This Is About My Mother. And next I will be joining the cast of Q2, a new musical written by Ryan Amador and James Lacine, in performance at the Ackerman Institute's Night of a Thousand Genders, supporting the Ackerman Institute Gender and Family Project. That'll be in September, God willing. Yeah, this was such a joy. Thank you all for coming.
Hi, everyone. My name is Arin Edelstein. I use she and her pronouns. I played Horatio. Before all of this lockdown, I'm based in Manhattan, and I was touring New York City public schools with a production of Much Ado About Nothing through NYU Shakespeare Project. I was playing Hero, and I also compiled Beatles music to kind of enhance the Shakespeare and make it more accessible for students. And I was the music director and accompanist for that.
I think that's me now. Is it me now? Okay.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Caitlyn. My pronouns are she, her. I played Ophelia, and so prior to our new normal, I just closed a production of As You Like It with a company called Hamlet, and played Rosalind, and that was lovely. And then very quickly, things shifted to digital. I'm also a teaching artist with New York City Children's Theater and work at the Stella Adler Studio of Acting at their Manhattan campus. I'm based in Manhattan. I forget that that's a thing you have to say now because we're not all in New York, which is very exciting. Yes, I'm very lucky that I'm still working as a teaching artist with both companies and have taken all of our classes and things online, and I'm developing programming for little ones and adults and teens and everywhere in between.
Hello, I'm Meagan. My pronouns are she, her. I played Laertes. I just graduated in 2019 from Tisch Drama and am now based in New York City. Most recently, I was in a wonderful production of Brilliant Traces at the Jean Frankel Theater, which tragically did not have its opening due to the current situation, but I have my fingers crossed that that will pick back up at some point or next year. Yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Hello, my name is Courtney Silber. I am based in New York City. I graduated from Marymount Manhattan College in 2018, and since then I've been doing summer stock, Shakespeare, you name it. Most recently, I played Juliet in spontaneous Shakespeare at Greenwood Lake Theater and Romeo and Juliet, and I also was touring a children's TYA show, The Cat in the Hat, as Thing 1, with Plaza Art Theatricals all around the tri-state area. And unfortunately, that got stopped short. And I was planning on doing summer stock this summer in Boothbay Harbor, but that also got canceled. So nothing planned for me in the future yet, but I'm hoping to work with No Exit some more and maybe do some other Zoomy theater because this is fun.
Hi, I'm Nicole Pelini. I go by she, her, hers pronouns, and I played the Gertrude in a player. I am currently in Nebraska, where I've been for the last 3 months, but I have an apartment in Brooklyn. So I graduated from Florida Atlantic University with a BFA in theater performance, and I moved up to Brooklyn and have been auditioning and working out of there since. 2 weeks ago, I actually did a Taming of the Shrew online Zoom reading, so this is my second delve into a Shakespeare Zoom reading, and I'm really glad to be a part of this. While in New York, I mostly do like independent work and like readings for like replays, so it's really nice to like dip my toes into classic theater again.
Hello, isn't that cute? My name's RJ. I use he, him, his pronouns. I just finished my junior year at NYU Steinhardt, vocal performance musical theater, and if you look at my resume, I'm really a musical theater guy. I've done, Shrek the Musical. I've done Beauty and the Beast. I've done all of the really big singy types things. But I really feel like I have a heart in straight acting. This is my first Shakespeare performance, and I'm really proud of to be able to do this. And I feel like I did some really fun work, and this cast is super stacked, so I'm excited about that. And I also do composition and lyrics for new musicals. I've written about 4 shows of varying lengths now, and I'm working on a 5th that we're really looking for an off-Broadway run because it's like one of those really spicy, cool shows that I think is really hitting to the heart of what's going on right now. And hopefully that'll happen when normal is normal.
My name is Henry Sheeran, and I use he, him, his pronouns. I played Rosenstern and the Gravedigger, both combo tracks. And I went to the Gallatin School at NYU. I concentrated in narratives and poetics of responsibility. And you're going to have to call me separately from this if you want me to explain exactly what that means. But Ben and I went to school together, and so I've done mostly writing and producing for the past 6 years in New York, in college and out, but I've done a good amount of acting too. And after I graduated from NYU, I went to the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey and did their apprentice program, which is all classical Shakespeare actor training. Got to be in Titus Andronicus, played a messenger. That was a blast. That was my most recent Shakespeare. And then right after that, I produced and directed this show that I wrote called McCain, which was a gym near Bryant Park. And Ben Natan, our director, was one of the 4 cast members in that show. And so that was really great. And up next, I'm going to Northwestern. I'm going to get an MFA, or I'm going to pursue an MFA in writing for the screen and stage. So that's the next step.
Hello, my name is Heidi Tolson. Tonight I read stage directions and I read for The Messenger, Osric, and The Priest. I am a actor, singer, performer person coming at you live from Hell's Kitchen, Manhattan right now. Before this, immediately, about 4 weeks ago, I played Benedict in No Exit Theater Co.'s rendition of Much Ado About Nothing. Before that, I performed in the Serving You Sondheim series at the Green Room 42 every couple of months. I actually met Ben doing a show last year for the Wandering Theater Company, and I played Anna Surratt in The Trial of Mrs. Surratt. Before all this, but it's really been a pleasure getting to work with Ben and all these great performers.
Hi, my name is Renae Raymond. I am an actor based in New Jersey, and I most recently graduated from Drew University with a BA in Theater Arts. During my last year, I actually interned at the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey as a casting associate, where I met Ben, and that was super fun. I got to cast Enchanted April and Much Ado About Nothing. Most recently, I played Polly Peachum in the Three Penny Opera at the Nash Theater at Raritan Valley College. And up next, I will be acting in a New York University film, hoping to shoot in September.
Hi, I'm Ben Natan. I am the director of this wonderful play. I've had the pleasure of working with all these fantastic actors. I'm typically an actor myself. I've worked with the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey, Pennsylvania Shakespeare, Bradley Beach Arts Council, Franklin Theater Works. I worked a little bit off Broadway for about a year. I graduated from NYU Gallatin, where I studied classical theater and also studied politics. And we're hoping to make cool new kinds of theater over the next couple of weeks, next couple of months, however long we're in this. But I'm lucky to have an amazing cast of artists in the No Exit Theater Collective.
Hi, I'm Zeynep Akca. I'm the technical director for this reading and also Ben's co-artistic director with No Exit Theater Collective. I mostly am a director-producer. I most recently directed my New York City debut at Broadway Bound Theater Festival in Theater Row, where Ben was in the cast and I was directing a play called The Argentinian Prostitute Play. And hopefully it'll return one day. Most recently, I've been working with Ashley Lauren Rogers, producing Scowl, which is a stage combat-oriented theatrical event. And our last show, Ladder Meagan, got canceled in March, but it's going to be at the Tank at some point. Other than that, at the moment, I'm getting my MA in Applied Theater from CUNY School of Professional Studies. And hopefully in the next year, we'll graduate.
Wonderful. So we are going to be moving on to our question and answer portion in a moment. But first, before we do so, I would love to give a couple of shout outs. And by a couple, I mean actually a lot. First, I would like to thank Kevin Cantor, Samuel Cheeseman, and Bianca Phipps, who adapted and cut this script of Hamlet. And then Zeynep, Arin, Heidi, Henry, and I worked together to edit the script even more down and adapt it to Zoom and creating different tracks. Moving on to thanking those who have contributed to us. Remember, you can contribute to the actors with the No Exit tip jar, which is on Venmo at NoExit-TC. Again, that is at NoExit-TC. So far, I would like to thank Jan and Joe, Jake Kitseros, Donna Speratu, Ian Picard, Chris Chick, Mark Schofeld, Christian Roach, Alex Stetkovich, Danica Klauser, Mia Greco, Carly Messig, Robin McCain, Shervert McCain, Eduardo Rivera, Mitchell Ledoux, Jennifer Ledoux, and Melinda Silber. Thank you all so much. Oh, and Jennifer Newman as well. Thank you all so much. And also, we're on social media. We're on Facebook, No Exit Theater Collective, and we're also on Twitter and Instagram at NoExitTC. So give us a follow there. So now turning it over to the question and answer section. If you're interested in any questions regarding this production, the collective, all what we're doing as artists, please feel free to ask, and we're happy to take those questions over the next few minutes. And also important to ask a question, just type it in on Facebook, and we'll put it up, and we'll all answer it together. Just got another tip. Thank you so much, Tiffany Christian, for that tip. Thank you so much.
That's my mom.
Oh, thank you to RJ's mom.
My mom donated too.
Thank you to all the moms. So we have our first question here from Marley Mateus. How is the process for you guys of rehearsing and performing in this new digital climate? Does anyone want to take that question specifically?
Go ahead.
Oh, please, after you.
Okay, I'll be quick. Yeah, I think it might just be interesting for those watching to know that we all do this different ways, but me in particular, while the play is going on and I'm not in it, I have the whole screen up so I can watch the play. And then when I'm about to come in, I get rid of it and just have the script and try to act with the camera and use my ears to react to the other person. So it's really difficult because it's more interesting for you if I look at the camera than if I look down here over here. But on the other hand, it's good practice because it's acting off of listening only, which is what I strive to do on stage more and more.
For me, in my process, I sometimes struggle with finding the privacy in my acting. I sometimes feel I'm bent towards the audience in some ways, and on Zoom, it's completely taken away. It's just me in my room and my scene partners, and I feel like that is so freeing in a sense that I don't have to worry about phoning it in as much. But I'm zooming it in. But it's so freeing to feel like I can just look at this half of my screen and this is my world and that's it. And I feel like once we're back to physical in the same room theater, I can take this feeling of privacy and take it with me. And so in that sense, I'm very grateful to have done a play through Zoom because it's such a nice little treat for an actor.
I will say it's also excellent practice for self-taping. We do so many self-tapes in our lives, and it's been, without physical auditions, all acting has just been me, myself, and I in a ring light. So it's getting adapted to that methodology has been, I assume, will be useful in the future as well as right now.
I find that maybe contrary to RJ's point, that acting via Zoom is such a challenge, an exercise in concentration. When I'm looking just above my camera, I'm locking eyes with half a dozen American Girl dolls, and I find that very off-putting to be my dead dad. What's happening here? So I feel like that's something that I've been able to work on is kind of honing in on the craft.
Meagan, I totally agree with you. I am someone that I work really well with people in the room, having another person there. People don't really understand me through technology, which is something I really have to work hard at through self-tapes because I don't come across well over that kind of medium. And so it's really helpful in this kind of situation to try and work on that. So yeah, this has been really fun and new, and it's unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I just think this is going to be the new way of doing things for a while, for a little bit, and we just all have to adapt.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and especially because when you're on stage in a live performance, you rely on your fellow actors to bounce off of their body language and facial expressions, and while we do get to see our faces through a screen, it's a bigger challenge to do physical embodiment just through a screen. But it is very, very helpful and educational.
The thing that I've found I'm struggling with working on Zoom is all of the extra little like mute, unmute, look here, which is the specific reason I mostly perform on stage and don't seek out film. And so it's very interesting as like I self-identified theater artist to be doing my theatrical classical work with those extra little things and figuring out how that can be worked into my training and my technique. It's very interesting.
Absolutely. I think I've gotten way better at multitasking because of this, because I'm reading, I'm trying to make eye contact, I'm clicking the buttons. So that in itself has been some kind of fun little lesson out of this, but it's still just such a blessing that just to get to do something right now. Like, of course we can do, the possibilities are infinite right now, right? But oh my gosh, this has just been something really to look forward to at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. every night.
Oh, sorry.
No. I was going to read the next question, but if you have an answer, please.
Well, I just wanted to point out that like even professional actors are having to adjust to this. I watched a Zoom reading of the Oedipus, and it was Oscar Isaac and Frances McDermott. And Frances McDermott on her entrance did not turn her mic on, so she like got halfway in her monologue, and then like I guess the stage manager like turned her on and she like looked up and like restarted. It was great.
So we have a question from Nick. Is No Exit a new company, like many inspired by the current quarantines, or has it been around for longer, and is this a new way to work? If it has been around, what sort of work would you be producing if it weren't under these restrictions? So I can answer that question. No Exit is a collective, not a company. We don't have an LLC or anything yet. But a month and a half ago, I was sitting on my couch. I was reading a play. It was a great play. It was Hedda Gabler. And I was like, I don't quite like doing this by myself. It doesn't really work. And I thought to myself, well, I have dozens and dozens and dozens of friends, collaborators, peers, mentors, people I can reach out to who are in the same predicament as I am and who would be interested in making theater together. So we made a private Facebook group. And it was about 40 people to start. And I said, hey, folks, I want to make theater. If you are an actor, if you're a writer, if you're a director, if you're in tech, let's do something. Let's do something together. Let's read a play every few weeks. And a few weeks ago, we had our first play. It was Much Ado About Nothing. It was a wonderful cast. Meagan and Heidi were both in it. And it was great, and we had a great response from everybody. And so we thought, well, we can keep this going, and maybe we should get more people involved. So now the Facebook group has like 100 people in it, 100 different actors, singers, musicians, writers, technicians, directors, anything you could think of in the theater world, they're in this group, and we're working on new and different ways to create theater art, performance art for audiences during these times of COVID. So far, we have this fortnightly reading series. Every 2 weeks we'll get together, we'll read a play. The works that we're doing right now are all public domain because of we don't have the ability yet to buy performance rights to other plays. So staying in the Shakespeare realm, a lot of us actors have classical backgrounds. I have a classical background. Some have musical theater backgrounds. Some have more contemporary backgrounds. But we're all coming together to do these plays. When this is over, who knows? Maybe we'll all keep on working together. It'd be really nice. And we've assembled just an absolutely phenomenal core of just some of the most talented, compassionate artists I've ever met. And I want to keep on working with them. But that was a long roundabout way of saying this is a new group, but we hope to keep on growing, keep on bringing new things, and we're excited to do so. We have another question from Cherve. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Were there any practices with some contingencies in case there was any digital mishaps? That would actually be a great question for our wonderful swing, Renae.
Yes, I am the swing. My job is pretty much everybody's understudy. If they can't make it to a rehearsal or the performance, or if their Wi-Fi cuts out, I think the first rehearsal that we had, I filled in for Polonius, which was super fun. Yeah, that's, I don't know how else to elaborate, but it's super fun being able to step in any possible way that I can.
One of the immediate obstacles that we encountered when we started doing Zoom theater is that everybody has different internet situations. And that is something that we have to work around. And in our first reading, we didn't have a swing, and we only had a small mishap. But I jumped in. It was fine. But I thought going forward, we should have somebody who can kind of come off the bench at any moment and read for people if they have an internet problem. Luckily, we haven't had anything during a performance yet, knocking on wood right now. But the work of the swing is incredibly important. Renae's been a huge help this week, filling in when people weren't available, filling in when internet kind of went out. So that's a practice that we're going to have going forward with all of our productions. We have a question from Ryan. What was the process in paring down the script? Where do you find the places to cut the story down? That is a question, I guess, mostly for me, because I did all of the editing I did all of the cutting over the past week. Arin, Henry, and Zeynep were helping with formatting, because it's formatting for this specific stuff can be very difficult. But we want to be able to keep a nice, tight story. These plays tend to kind of get 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 3.5 hours, depending on the Shakespeare. And none of us can sit down for that long. I would never ask anybody to sit down for that long. So we started with a really great cut. And that cut ended up being about 90 minutes. And we wanted to shave a little bit off. So it just was about finding small moments across the script where maybe the language was getting, I don't necessarily want to say superfluous, but going into great detail about things that were previously stated. Those were mainly the parts that we cut down. There were some scenes that didn't make it into this production just because of how they would play in the Zoom format. So there wasn't any deliberate philosophy going in, other than that I would go into big monologues and find the parts where they were just kind of describing one thing and just take off a little bit. And when you do that across the whole script, you end up cutting 10 minutes off the script, which is really helpful. Next question. This is from Jake, directed to me. So sorry for talking so much. But I think a lot of other people can answer this question, actually. Can you or any of the company, collective, not company, comment further about using theater art as a tool for advocacy? How can your audience further support of No Exit's mission? So I'll start a little bit. Theater and performing arts is an incredibly diverse community made up of people of all walks of life, race, religion, class, ethnic background, immigration status, sexuality, gender. We at No Exit have and are trying to cultivate an incredibly diverse group, because not only does that improve the lives of people from different communities because they're able to do the art, it also makes the art more rich. It makes it better because people are bringing different kinds of life experiences to the stories that are written down. So in doing that, we have political interests. We have a worldview that we want to help project onto the world with our art. And I spoke at the beginning of this of how Hamlet factors into that. In this time of COVID, there's a lot of crises happening and a lot to choose from. But we find that we want to pick things that are direct action that we can either bring light to or directly help through fundraising, which is what we're doing tonight. Of course, 20% of the money that we raise through the tip jar will be going to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, which is a cash bail fund in order to help incarcerated people across the state of Minnesota. You can donate to us at NoExit-TC on Venmo. Just remember, 20% of the tip jar tonight will be going to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. Does anyone else in the group want to talk about advocacy through art?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you can go ahead.
I think that the arts as a medium for advocacy is so important, and I think that it's often discounted because maybe like stories are not always factual, or drama may be heightened to evoke a certain response in the audience. But I think that storytelling and accessing the feelings and like the most like interpersonal wants of a character and imparting that to an audience, I think that is so effective, especially in building empathy, because I think empathy is a necessary route for activism and for action. So I'm really proud to be working with a company that values that as much as I do.
Yeah, and to add to what Arin was saying, this idea of empathy connecting to representation, and that how crucial, like we think of advocacy or activism through the arts is like, donating proceeds of a show to something, and yes, that's it too, but it also has a lot to do with the bodies that are represented on stage, because then it's changing what our world is seeing and how people can be seen. So not only casting a wide range of stories, but placing those bodies in different kinds of stories, so that there's a wider view of what people can be identified. And then the other thing that I always think about is the impact of my art. I think a lot of people have good intentions with putting up shows, or it's light and fun, but like always thinking, who is this impacting? What effect is this going to have on this group of people? Or what is this storytelling? Are the things that I really think about when creating all art, because I think all art can be activism.
I think that the history of especially American theater is very much rooted in activism. It doesn't matter if it was Clifford Odets or John Steinbeck, Tony Kushner or Toni Morrison. These writers had political interests. They had political ideals. And for me, theater has always been about politics and practice. It is a way to discuss political issues without using partisan terms. We have a tendency, especially in America, to talk about things through a polarized sense of Democrat and Republican, whereas most problems extend beyond that. It is right and wrong. And it is easier to tell those things through a story about a grieving young prince who's dealing with the trials and tribulations of being judged for his grief. And I think that is what has always appealed to me about theater, and using theater for political means, because it is a much easier way to talk to people about political issues, about moral issues, without necessarily getting caught up in names and necessarily like partisan terms, I would say.
I also think that doing, in terms of classical theater, living in the bodies and minds which were imagined at this point almost 500 years ago. It's this could be reading a Russian novel from 1875. This could be reading the Bible. This could be reading the Odyssey. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter from what canon or not a canon or whatever. But like to see human lives, especially told through fiction, through like in terms of like theater, literature, from the past, and hearing our friends and our leaders and ourselves in those voices from those times is an amazing way, I think, to like use that cliche that's so true, which is like art can comfort the discomforted and discomfort the comforted, or whatever that expression is. I think that moving, across time, it's like time travel, and you learn about yourself that way and your place. Absolutely.
Before we move on to the next question, we got a few more contributions to the tip jar in the last couple of minutes. So I just want to extend a thank you to Miriam Edelstein, Polina Piddle, Marley Matthias, and Janiyah Johnson for all of their wonderful contributions. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next question. Katie, not sure if this has been already been answered, but will you be continuing these virtual productions, or do you have a hope to eventually stage some performances in person? We have plans to do these sorts of readings every 2 weeks. So tomorrow we will start the process of picking a new play. Over the next week, we'll spend time casting that play, cutting down, finding a good script, cutting it down to an appropriate length, and then we would start rehearsal about a week or so in the future, only to perform in 2 weeks. In terms of other forms of performance, we have some really cool announcements about other projects that No Exit Theater Collective is going to be doing over the next couple of months, especially with the summer coming on. We're hoping to have specific events to celebrate Pride during the month of June, which we're really looking forward to. And in terms of in-person performance, it's hard to look that far in the future because we don't know when theater is coming back. We don't know when in-person theater is coming back. So while it would be wonderful to work with these actors in person, until we are able to do that, we are going to be right here coming to you from these screens. So far, that is, looks like that is it for questions. Thank you all so much for joining us. We really had a blast doing this show for you. Remember that you can support the No Exit Theater Collective on Venmo at NoExit-TC. 20% of the funds this week will be going to the Minnesota Freedom Fund. Thank you all so much. Remember to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at NoExit-TC, on Facebook, No Exit Theater Collective, and stay tuned for announcements about what our next play is going to be in the fortnightly reading series and what other projects we have coming your way. Thank you all so much, and have a wonderful night.